And the Oilers begin the final full week of the regular season in first place in the tight Pacific Division. They're tied with Anaheim and just 1 point up on Vegas after the Golden Knights took a win in Edmonton Saturday night.
They got the better of us tonight. We got the better of them earlier year. A little fuel to the fire, at the end of the game. I'm sure it's not the last time we'll see them.
It's just a little bump in the road. We'll be good and we'll learn from it.
In a potential first-round preview, Vegas scored twice in the third to seal a 5-1 victory, ending the Oilers' 6-game winning streak. It was a heated affair after the final buzzer, with both teams staying on the ice.
The pressure inside Edmonton just reached a breaking point, and Connor McDavid finally spoke in a way that no one expected. Every game is now deciding the Oilers' future, and the margin for error is almost gone. His words came at a moment when the standings could shift overnight, and what he revealed has started a serious conversation across the NHL. But the real impact is only beginning.
You guys still control your own fate.
Yeah, big trip, obviously, 5 games left. Find a way to get a couple wins.
Connor McDavid faced the media during one of the most intense stretches of the NHL season, as the Edmonton Oilers pushed through critical games that directly affected their playoff position. The Western Conference standings remained extremely tight, with only a few points separating multiple teams. Each result carried immediate consequences, and that made every shift on the ice more important than usual. The Oilers entered this stretch with strong offensive numbers. McDavid continued to lead the team in points and assists, maintaining one of the highest production rates in the league. His role remained central in nearly every scoring play. NHL data showed that he was involved in a large percentage of the team's goals, either by scoring or assisting, and that level of involvement placed constant attention on his performance. But the team's overall results did not always match that level of output. Several recent games showed a pattern where Edmonton generated enough offense, but still allowed goals at key moments. TSN analysis pointed to defensive breakdowns, especially late in games, where missed coverage and positioning errors led to goals against. These moments often changed the outcome of otherwise competitive matches. During a post-game media session, McDavid addressed the situation directly. He said, "We're just focused on what we can control," making it clear that the team was trying to stay centered despite the pressure. That statement came after another game where standings implications were immediately visible, and it reflected a controlled but serious tone. The pressure increased further because of how close the standings remained. ESPN updates showed that even a single loss could push a team down several spots, while a win could move them up just as quickly. This created a constant shift where no position felt secure. The Oilers remained in contention, but their exact placement changed frequently within a short period. The pressure did not come from standings alone. It also came from how the Oilers were performing inside games. In several matchups, the team built early leads, but failed to hold them. TSN game breakdowns showed that defensive gaps appeared during key moments, especially in the third period. These lapses allowed opponents to score late goals, and those goals often decided the final result. McDavid continued to play extended minutes during the stretch. NHL data showed that his ice time remained among the highest for forwards. He was used in even-strength situations, power plays, and late-game scenarios. His presence on the ice increased during critical moments, showing how much the team relied on him when games were close. Special teams also played a role in shaping outcomes. The Oilers' power play remained one of the most effective units, with McDavid leading puck movement and creating scoring chances. However, penalty kill performance showed inconsistency. TSN reports noted that goals allowed during penalty situations shifted momentum in multiple games, and those shifts became difficult to recover from. During another media session, McDavid addressed the situation again. He said, "We know what's at stake," directly acknowledging the importance of the remaining schedule. That statement came after a game where standings movement followed immediately, showing how quickly the team's position could change. The Oilers also faced challenges with scoring depth. While top-line players produced consistently, contributions from other lines varied. NHL game reports indicated that when secondary players added goals, the team performed better overall. When that support was missing, the burden on McDavid and Draisaitl increased. Goaltending performance added another layer to the situation. Save percentages fluctuated across recent games, and TSN analysis pointed to moments where key saves were not made during high-pressure situations. These instances often came late in games, when one goal could decide the outcome. McDavid remained consistent in his approach despite these factors. He continued to lead offensive plays, control puck movement, and create scoring chances. NHL tracking data showed his involvement in zone entries and transition plays remained among the highest in the league. His role extended beyond scoring, influencing how the team moved across the ice. The Western Conference standings continued to shift with each game played. ESPN updates showed that teams remained separated by small margins, and the Oilers' position changed frequently. This created a situation where no results could be taken lightly, and every game added new pressure. McDavid addressed that reality with a brief but direct statement. He said, "It's tight," referring to the standings. That description matched the data, as multiple teams remained within a narrow range of points. As the regular season moved closer to its final games, the Oilers remained in a position where outcomes were still undecided. The team continued to compete for playoff placement, but stability had not been reached. McDavid's performance stayed consistent, yet the results around him continued to vary, and the pressure tied to every shift on the ice did not slow down.
You're just about to send your team out onto the ice, and you've got to tell them your boss just got fired. Good luck with that. That situation Craig Berube found himself in last night. To talk about it, here's the coach, Bruce Boudreau. Bruce, you went through a similar scenario in the past. What's that like?
Well, it's not a lot of fun, I can tell you that, and both for the coach and for the players, because A, you don't want to distract them from the game, but B, you start to think, okay, he was my guy, he was the guy I was hanging on to. If he's gone, what's my situation?
Shockwaves hit the Toronto Maple Leafs after a sudden front office move, and within hours, attention shifted straight to the bench. Pressure started building around Craig Berube as reports linked past NHL patterns to what could happen next. Nothing has been confirmed, but the silence from management is raising serious concern, and the situation is still unfolding. The focus around Craig Berube intensified immediately after the management change inside the Toronto Maple Leafs organization. In the NHL, when a general manager leaves or is removed, attention often shifts toward the head coach. This pattern has been observed in multiple teams over recent seasons. The Maple Leafs situation now follows that same structure, and it has placed Berube under direct scrutiny. Recent team performance added to this pressure. The Maple Leafs have recorded mixed results in their last few games. In one match, they secured a 2-1 overtime win against the Anaheim Ducks. Reuters reported, John Tavares nets OT winner, Maple Leafs down Ducks. That result showed the team's ability to close tight games, but it did not remove concerns about consistency. In another game, the Leafs faced a heavy loss against the St. Louis Blues. Reuters stated, Blues stay hot, crush Maple Leafs. The team conceded 6 goals in that match. Defensive breakdowns were visible early in the game. The Blues maintained control throughout, and the Leafs were unable to recover. This result increased discussion around team structure and in-game adjustments. As these results came in, media coverage across Canada began focusing on coaching decisions. Analysts pointed to defensive organization and game management. The combination of a close win and a heavy loss created a mixed performance pattern. This inconsistency became a key topic in discussions about the team's direction. Craig Berube addressed the situation in a recent interview. According to Sportsnet, he said, "It's been my life." The statement referred to his long career in hockey. He acknowledged the uncertainty around his position. Reports noted that he is aware of the pressure but continues to focus on his role. His comments did not indicate any change in status, but they reflected the ongoing situation. The situation around Craig Berube did not slow down after the initial reaction. Instead, discussion expanded across league coverage as analysts compared this case to past NHL decisions. In several teams, a change at the general manager level was followed by a coaching adjustment within a short period. This pattern has been referenced repeatedly in recent reports, and it continues to shape expectations. Berube's coaching record remains part of the conversation. He led the St. Louis Blues to a Stanley Cup in 2019. That achievement is documented as a major milestone in his career. However, current evaluations are focused on present team performance. In professional hockey, past results do not guarantee job security. This standard applies across all teams, and the Maple Leafs are no exception. Attention has also turned toward game structure and execution. In the loss to St. Louis, the Leafs allowed 6 goals. the defensive unit showed gaps in coverage. Early goals changed the pace of the game. The Blues maintained pressure, and the Leafs could not regain control. This match has been used as a reference point in ongoing analysis, and it added to concerns about consistency. At the same time, the overtime win against Anaheim showed a different outcome. The team limited scoring chances and secured a narrow victory. John Tavares scored the deciding goal in overtime. The result confirmed that the team can perform under pressure. However, the contrast between games has remained a central issue in coverage, and it continues to draw attention. Media outlets have maintained focus on Berube's position. Sportsnet reports emphasized his awareness of the situation. His statement, "It's been my life," has been widely cited. It reflects his long-term involvement in hockey, but does not address future decisions. No official confirmation has been provided by team management, and that has kept uncertainty in place. The Maple Leafs schedule adds another layer to this situation. The team is playing games within short intervals. Limited recovery time affects performance and preparation. Each result now carries more weight due to the stage of the season. Analysts have noted that upcoming games could influence internal evaluations, and this has increased focus on immediate outcomes.
Here's William Nylander from today on what he has seen this year and maybe what he thinks has possibly gone wrong with the Leafs.
You look back at it and go, you kind of wish the team had done something different, like it was played different, or I don't know. When you look back at it, do you see the mistakes that as they piled up, kind of?
I mean, I have like my thoughts about maybe some stuff, but I mean that's something I'm going to keep to myself.
Okay. So yeah, Willie's not going to reveal it, not surprisingly, and I don't think he shouldn't just sit there and start throwing daggers.
Silence can be louder than anything, and William Nylander just proved it in a way no one expected. After a season full of pressure and criticism, he faced the media, and instead of explaining, he gave one cold sentence that instantly spread across the NHL. No details, no emotion, just silence. And now, that silence is raising questions no one can answer. Yet, the moment happened quickly, but it changed the entire conversation around the Toronto Maple Leafs. Reporters asked William Nylander a direct question about the season. It was a normal question. Players are asked this all the time, especially after a difficult stretch. Most players respond with simple answers. They talk about effort, mistakes, or what needs to improve. Nylander did not do that. He paused, stayed calm, and gave a short answer. He said, "Something I'm going to keep to myself." That was the full response. He did not add anything else. He did not explain what he meant. He did not go into details about the team or the season. The interview moved on, but the moment did not. This response quickly became a major talking point across hockey media. According to Sportsnet, Nylander chose not to explain where the season went wrong. The report confirmed that he declined to share his thoughts publicly when asked directly. That choice stood out immediately. Players usually give structured answers in these situations. They often say the team needs to be better or that small mistakes made a big difference. These answers are common. They are expected. Nylander's response did not follow that pattern. It was short, it was controlled, and it gave nothing away. Another report from Toronto Sun also highlighted this moment. The article explained that Nylander clearly has opinions about the season, but decided not to share them. The focus was not on what he said, but on what he chose not to say. That made the moment different. The Maple Leafs have been under heavy pressure. Expectations were high throughout the season. Media coverage has been constant. Players have faced repeated questions about performance, effort, and results. Nylander has been part of that environment. His response came during that pressure. It did not include frustration or anger. His tone stayed neutral, his words stayed limited. But the message was still clear. He was not going to explain his thoughts. That decision created a strong reaction. The reaction to that moment grew quickly, and the focus shifted from the team's performance to Nylander's response itself. Media coverage continued to highlight the same quote. The sentence, "Something I'm going to keep to myself," was repeated across broadcasts and articles. It became the main reference point in discussions about the Toronto Maple Leafs. This level of attention did not come from length or detail. It came from what was missing. According to Sportsnet, Nylander has often handled media in a controlled and private way. He does not regularly share deep internal thoughts in interviews. That pattern helps explain the response, but it does not fully remove the impact of the moment because the situation was different. The question was about a full season. It came during a period when the team was under strong public evaluation. In these moments, players are expected to give insight, even if it is limited. Nylander chose not to provide that insight. That choice became the story. Coverage from Toronto Sun emphasized that Nylander had thoughts on the season but decided not to reveal them. The article did not include any further explanation from him. The original quote remained the only direct comment. No follow-up changed that. Nylander did not expand on his answer in later interviews. He did not clarify what he meant. The single sentence remained unchanged. That consistency kept the focus on the original moment. The absence of detail continued to drive attention. In most interviews, players respond with repeated phrases. They talk about improving, learning, or moving forward. These responses create a predictable pattern. Nylander's response did not fit that pattern. It stood apart because it avoided those phrases completely. That difference increased its visibility. The quote continued to appear in headlines and discussions. Analysts referenced it when talking about the team. The response became part of a larger conversation about media interaction and player communication. But the content of the response never changed. It stayed as one sentence, delivered once with no addition. That is what kept the moment active in coverage. A single answer, without detail, without expansion, and without revision, remained at the center of attention. And even as the discussion grew, the original message stayed exactly the same. Connor McDavid just hit a number that changes how the NHL looks at him forever. One goal made history, but what happened seconds later shocked everyone watching. The crowd reacted, the bench stood up, and the league took notice. This was not just another milestone. Something bigger was unfolding on the ice, and the full impact was only starting to become clear. Connor McDavid entered the game already, leading as one of the top scorers in the NHL. During the second period, he received the puck in open space and completed a scoring play that marked his 400th career goal. Official NHL records confirm that reaching 400 goals places a player into a rare group. Fewer than 100 players in league history have reached this number, and the pace at which McDavid achieved it drew immediate attention. The goal came during even strength play. There was no power play advantage. Game reports confirm that the Oilers were controlling possession during that shift. McDavid moved through the neutral zone, with speed entered the offensive zone, and finished the play with a clean shot past the goaltender. The moment was quickly confirmed by league tracking systems, and the broadcast displayed the milestone as it happened, but the sequence did not stop there. Shortly after scoring his 400th goal, McDavid scored again. This second goal became number 401. It happened in the same game within a short span of time. Reuters reported Connor McDavid hit the 400-goal milestone and added another as the Oilers secured the win. That update confirmed both goals as part of a single performance, and it shifted the focus from just the milestone to the speed at which he moved beyond it. The Oilers continued to apply offensive pressure after the goals. McDavid remained active in play, contributing to multiple scoring chances. Game summaries show that he recorded more than just goals, as he remained involved in puck movement and offensive setups. His presence on the ice continued to affect the pace of the game, and opposing defenders were forced to adjust their positioning. Career data shows that McDavid has reached every major scoring milestone at a fast rate. Since entering the NHL in 2015, he has consistently produced high numbers each season. He reached 100 goals, then 200, and then 300 in fewer games than many players in the modern era. The 400 goal mark follows the same pattern, and that consistency has been tracked across official league statistics, but this latest moment added a new level to the discussion. McDavid's current total places him among the top active goal scorers in the NHL. Updated league data shows that his scoring rate remains steady across seasons. He has not shown long scoring gaps, and game logs confirm consistent production year after year. This pattern has been a key factor in how quickly he reached 400 goals, and it continues to shape how teams prepare to face him. The Oilers system relies heavily on speed and puck control. McDavid plays a central role in that structure. In the milestone game, his goals follow the same pattern seen throughout his career. He carried the puck through the neutral zone, created space, and finished plays under pressure. Shot data from the game confirms that both goals came from high probability scoring areas, which reflects his ability to position himself effectively during offensive plays. Defensive matchups against McDavid often involve top defensive pairings. Opposing teams attempt to limit his time with the puck by closing gaps early and applying pressure in the neutral zone. Despite these efforts, recent game reports show that he continues to generate scoring chances at a high rate. His speed allows him to move past defenders quickly, and this factor was visible again during the milestone performance. Statistical comparisons place McDavid among the fastest players to reach 400 goals in the salary cap era. Historical data shows that many players who reach this mark go on to surpass 500 goals. Based on current scoring trends and age-related performance models, projections indicate that he remains on pace for higher milestones if production continues at the same level, and that projection has been included in multiple reports following the game. The timing of the milestone also aligns with the later stage of the regular season. Teams are competing for playoff positions, and performance during this period carries added importance. Game results show that the Oilers secured a win during the milestone match, linking individual achievement with team success. This connection has been noted in post-game coverage as McDavid's scoring directly contributed to the outcome. Broadcast footage confirmed the exact moments of both goals. Commentators acknowledged the milestone in real time, and replays were shown across multiple angles. The sequence of goal number 400, followed quickly by 401, remained a central focus in coverage. This rapid progression changed how the event was viewed, shifting it from a single milestone to a broader performance moment that continued to draw attention after the game ended.
Ottawa Senators fans think they know what